Ugh, let's be barrier nerds. No, me be barrier nerd. So this guide is intended for new players or beginning players or people that are returning after a super long break and they've been gone so long they don't even know what a champion is. I'm going to go over the basics of barriers, how to stun them, what to do, and then also because it is such an easy mechanic for barriers that I'm also going to go over some survivability techniques and just a couple tips and tricks you could do, especially on hard content to kind of deal with them easily. So first thing you need to know is when 1/6 of their health is gone, they activate their barrier and they restart regenerating health almost immediately unless you do damage to them with an anti-barrier weapon. Anti-barrier weapons are decided by the seasonal mod that you equip to make said weapon anti-barrier. There, now as soon as you have that mod equipped with the correct weapon, all of a sudden you have an anti-barrier weapon. Now, as shown here, as soon as you do damage, there, pops his barrier, doesn't regenerate health, and then he stuns. Now, after he wakes up, you have about 3 seconds until he reactivates his barrier to try and heal up again, which you can delay by freezing him with stasis, jolting him, which will kind of make him jump around and stuff like that. That'll slow him down from regenerating his barrier, or you can just plain old stagger him, like with a heavy weapon, let's say, and that will slow down that 3-second timer before he reactivates his barrier. Other than that, just make sure you have the weapon ready so that as soon as he does reactivate his barrier, you're ready to begin damaging with the anti-barrier weapon. As long as you're damaging his barrier with that weapon, he won't regenerate health. You don't have to pop his barrier right away or anything like that, but just as long as he's taking damage from an anti-barrier weapon, he won't regenerate health. You'll notice here in the clips that when you do critical damage at his crit spot, it will break his barrier faster, so headshots or shooting him in his weak spot will bring the barrier down faster than, let's say, just a regular body shot. There, simple, right? Pops his barrier, you shoot it, he's stunned, do damage, he wakes up, get ready to shoot him again. Easy. Now we can talk about easy tips on how to survive these barriers, how to make this easy champion even easier. So you'll notice this guy's void purple boomy cannon thing is aimed at my feet. So obviously he's aimed at my feet when he's shooting it. So knowing that, we can put ourselves into positions where his line of sight at my feet isn't there anymore and he's gonna miss. So if I get some high ground on him, there, we'll notice he's aiming at my feet, but it's hitting the wall in front of me. So there's lots of different scenarios where you can put yourself either above him or below him so that him looking at my feet isn't accessible to him anymore. So none of the shots actually reach me. Here's another example of being underneath the void cannon from a barrier. Right here, going lower than him. So he's aimed at my feet, so it's hitting the ground above the stairs. Again, so I'm 100% safe. I can shoot him as much as I want without any fear of getting hit by him. So this is on any difficulty setting. So Grandmaster, Master, Legendary, no difficulty, whatever. It's just a quick, easy way to just stay safe shooting them. So there. Easy, right? So the other kinds is just when they got the normal guns, and you're just going to treat them like normal ads. So I'm just going to use cover on the right-hand side here to do damage to them. And again, I have the cover there. I know how they're going to shoot me. It's just like how regular ads shoot at you when they have those kind of guns. So just avoid them like you would a regular ad shooting at you. Now, the arc boomer kind, probably the most dangerous. As we see here, it's not shooting at my feet anymore, shooting right at my face. Upper chest, let's say. So not good. So for that, a couple things you can do. One is if you're medium range, just jump up and down. You know the tracking, because it's a slower bullet, easy to miss. So it's trying to aim where you're gonna be. So jumping up and down like that, easy to dodge. Another option is if you have an obstacle in between you and him like this, where you can just peek your head out, because he's aiming at your upper chest, chin, upper chest. Same as the snipers too, by the way. So sniper barrier will act the same way. The other option, you know, if you're a little bit farther back, I'd say the far end of medium range, you have plenty of time to just dodge their shots. Again, they're aiming where you're gonna be, so just strafing back and forth usually does the trick. The odd one will sneak through and hit you as you're going back and forth, but still, most of the shots are missing. Now, Cabal barrier, they got some unique guns. So we see this guy with his arc Gauss cannon. I don't know, what is that? Anyways, you can see he's shooting at my tummy. So again, same thing, if you get the high ground on him, you can still fairly easily get the angles working in your favor there, where he's shooting in front of you, or shooting the wall in front of you instead of at you. Same thing, because these guys are chunky, like I was saying. You can go off the side here, and because they're so big, you can still easily damage them just by carefully peeking around corners of walls, stuff like that. They're always right-handed, so you just always have to peek the right-hand side. Best thing to do for all barriers, though, if you have the opportunity, do them from a distance, because they can only shoot so far. Snipers obviously have the longest range, but again, if you can do them from a distance, just always do it, where they're not even shooting at you, and you're free to shoot them at will. Keeping in mind that they'll try and run behind cover sometimes. So last type of Cabal barrier is the guys with the miniguns here, with the slug thrower, heavy slug thrower, the Gatling gun. Now, I'm using Carl for an example here, but same thing. You can, they're shooting around your tummy area, so you can use walls or you can get above them. Now, of course, with all barriers, you don't want to be hugging them because, you know, they'll stomp you or they'll smack you, you know, so don't hug. Now, it's good to keep in mind that any perks on a weapon that talk about doing anything special to shields applies to barrier shield as well. So like adaptive munitions we were just looking at there, great for barriers. You know, armor piercing rounds, it's an extra 5% damage to a barrier shield. Disruption break, good. Things like Genesis, you know, where it auto reloads the clip when you pop a shield. All those work to barriers too. And just keep that in mind, there's so much more. So if it talks about doing anything to shields, it's gonna apply to barriers as well. Now, just the most important thing with barriers to keep in mind is basically high ground. You know, if you can have the high ground, it's much easier. Distance works in your favor too. I would suggest not putting yourself in situations where they're above you, where they have like kind of a cleaner line of sight to you, because a lot of them do splash damage and that type of thing. Just, you know, a lot of those situations where they're above you aren't going to work out in your favor. Anyway, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I hope you like this. I hope there's some tips in here that'll help you out. Please liking's good. Subscribing's even better though, if you don't mind. Why not? Have a good one.